Hello, this is Gail, and you are hanging out with the Legacy Recorder. We're doing 52 weeks of storytelling. This is week 23 of 52. It's Crazy Town. So, what is 52 weeks of storytelling? 52 weeks of storytelling is a weekly video series that's happening for 52 weeks, and every video has everything you need to write at least one page of your story. Each week we have a different prompt. The video walks through that specific prompt, how the words might flow. I share a story example. We talk about the journals and all the things you would need to write your own page of your story or to help someone else tell theirs. If you're using this in a activities area or in the care industry, thank you for helping someone tell their life story. With that, I want to jump into where you can grab the journal. If you haven't yet, you can grab the journal on Etsy as a PDF, as a printable, or you can head over to Amazon and get 52 Weeks of Storytelling with guided prompts as a printed journal. So if you order it through Amazon, you'll get it in a couple days if you have Prime, and it'll show up at your door and you can come right next with us next week. Remember that you can always go back and watch the previous week videos. You are never behind. You are exactly where you're supposed to be whenever you jump in. I want to share with you what the legacy storytelling method is. It is the method that I created to help people and walk them through how to tell their stories or how to help someone else tell their story in a simple and engaging way that would lead to storytelling moments and the opportunity to create storytelling projects if that's something that your group or family is interested in doing. So, the basics of the method is that we start with the 5 W's: who, what, when, where, and why. Usually the first 4 are pretty self explanatory. Why is where people get a little tripped up. So, why for me is, why did this moment happen? How did we get here? What were the circumstances? And all those little pieces that we don't always remember to share with people. The second set of questions really has to do with digging deeper. This is feelings and impact. And my favorite question, what do you want people to remember about this moment? This question really ties a bow on pretty much any story or memory. If you're in a conversation with someone and you say, what do you want people to remember about that story or that event or that moment? Just watch what happens. It's a pretty amazing question. So that is the storytelling method. Everything in the legacy world is built on it, and you'll find lots of different resources and prompts that have all of those things. But for today, I would like to focus on our weekly prompt. So this is your intro to the weekly prompt. This particular prompt is sleepovers. So, favorite sleepover memories. I came up with this prompt or this idea a couple years ago. I don't remember why. I'm sure I've written about it somewhere as to how this inspiration came. I'm sure it's in a YouTube video or a Facebook video. But basically, I would imagine, I was thinking about, I think maybe my kid was taking their first sleepover, or maybe we had someone stay at our house for the first time, and it made me think about the sleepovers I did as a kid and what my favorite sleepovers were. And so when you're thinking about the prompt for you, it's, you can think about as an adult if you had sleepovers, and sleepovers could be like, you could interpret it as like a trip you took, a vacation, a backpacking trip, a camping trip, when you stayed over at your grandparents, if you stayed with your cousins, if you had friends over. You know, the world is your oyster, whatever memory you'd want to choose from. If you don't have any sleepover memories, or they're hard, or they're not something you want to think about, feel free to check this out the window and pick something entirely different. The storytelling method stays the same regardless what you're using. So, with that, I'm going to share with you my story example. So, I couldn't pick one because I just sort of, I think about life as we exist wherever we are in the moment. So I'm not sleeping over anywhere except, we kind of do as kids. But I think some of my favorite memories where I was sleeping out or sleeping over somewhere really had to do with backpacking and being outside. So I love sleeping outside. It's way more fun sleeping outside in the desert than it is in the woods. Mostly because you don't wake up with your sleeping bag wet. I grew up being able to camp outside without a tent, which was amazing. And that's a memory that I cherish. And I loved those moments. So that's my that's my story prompt example. I think what I want people to remember about that is that it or remember about this moment and like these types of memories is that it can be you can interpret these prompts as to anything. So, if your sleepover memory is something that has to do with family, or the important part is the travel, or where you were, or when it happened, or what happened, those everything is valid. And it can be as simple as I love sleeping outside, and that's where I'm happiest. So, with that, I hope you've gotten something out of this video, that you were able to find a memory in your human life experience that you wanted to write about. And until I see you again on the next video, I hope you have an incredible day and happy writing.